Recording in progress.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our council meeting today. I don't get to use this very often, so with many people in the council chambers today, I might add some distinguished guests here. Thank you for coming, all of you. And we're going to get started. So I'm going to ask if there's any declaration of pecuniary interest from the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act from anyone. Seeing none. I have a resolution moved by Councillor Dirksen, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that the minutes of the Town of Minto, May 23rd, 23 regular council meeting be approved. All in favor of that motion? And we're 3 items into the agenda, and I forgot one thing. I just wanted to ask everyone to speak into the mic. We've been having some of our ratepayers complain a little bit because they can't hear us when they're watching us on YouTube. So it has been better lately when everybody speaks into the mic, and we had a little bit glitch with our equipment, but I think we're doing well. My phone never rang this week at all because of people not being able to hear. So thank you. Thank you for that, you guys. So next thing is a resolution by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Gunson, that the Town of Minto Council convenes into Committee of the Whole. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you. So we have no public meetings today, but we do have 3 delegations. In no particular order. But we do, we're presenting today a distinguished award, and it is the Senior of the Year award from Minto, and it's going to Willow Wick. So, Will, I'm not really sure if it's been a well-kept secret.
That's good.
So I'm just going to read some real nice material here on you. Certainly hope not to embarrass you. It shouldn't embarrass you. And then I'm going to ask you to come to the front so we can have a presentation and possibly a picture. So Willow Wick embodies a very essence of a senior citizen who is active and involved in her community, giving back and sharing her knowledge and gained experience with adults and youth alike. She is the glue that holds several committees together by being the chief communicator and author of wonderful and interesting newsletters, just to name a few. And they're chocked full of information, as well as the so important reminders of upcoming meetings and tasks that need to be completed. She is the recorder, both in word and pictures, of the events we hold and the celebrations that we participate in. If there's an event happening in town, it is likely that Willow will be there, selling sandwiches and pies at Barry Gray's auctions to support one group or another, taking the minutes for the horticultural group for many years, as well as for the Horticulture Society, helping to plant beds or planters to beautify the town, helping with the youth horticultural programs at our libraries, hosting easels, making events out at her farm to decorate our yards with. She is superb at organizing mystery tours for interested gardeners and can be found at many of the cultural events in town, whether it is a play at our local theater or being the MC for a vintage fashion show that was thoroughly enjoyed by many. In short, she's a very valued member of our senior community and is with great pride and appreciation for all of her enthusiasm and dedication that we, the Council of the Town of Minto, present her with the Senior of the Year Award on behalf of the Province of Ontario and the Town of Minto. So, Willow. So this is Senior Year Award 2023, presented to Willow by the municipality of the town. As you outstanding contribution to your community after age 65. What's that about? So,
No, no, no.
I didn't think you were 65. So how's that? Where's yours? Sorry, Willa, you're gonna have to speak into the mic.
Otherwise, David gets phone calls.
Don't hold that.
Oh, I
This is
can
fairly
do
heavy.
The mic or the.
The mic.
I really don't know what to say. Yes, it is a complete surprise, a well-kept secret. I just do my thing. Wherever I can help, I try to. If I can't, I try and stay out of the way.
Wise words.
So thank you, Willa. So the town of Minto is blessed with many volunteers. And, I mean, you brought some of your friends here with you today. And we want to extend our thanks to those folks as well, because I'm sure they're a huge support to you, whether you need support or not. Okay, so I'd like to call up Mayor Chan, please. You're not finished. You need to stay here. You don't-
So I'm here this afternoon representing.
You need a mic.
Here we go.
Surely they can hear me without a mic. No.
Okay, they can't hear me without a mic. I've never been told that people can't hear me, but I'm here representing David Anderson, who is tied up at the City of Guelph this afternoon, who was going to be here to represent Senator Black because he knew about your award and he wanted to write a letter thanking you very much for your volunteer and your enthusiasm. He knows you well. He crossed out the formal title and put just Willa and had to change the title, but there's a story there that we'll tell you about later. Anyway, as the president of the Hort Society, I wouldn't be able to be the president, which I've been for way too many years, without Willa going, we have a meeting coming up and we have this coming up. She's at everything and she documents everything that goes on picture-wise. Don't roll your eyes at me. That's not allowed. So I invited some of our friends to come and they also volunteer and we all help to beautify the town. We take great pride in our community and it's people like this that make it all worthwhile. Thank you so, so much. And I'll give you a hug.
Yes, I know Senator Black very well.
Perfect.
You know him too.
I know Senator Black because president of the County Historical Society. when I first started. He's got it.
Jockeying for position. Nobody turns sideways. Well,
Do it without the rest of you.
well, we probably wouldn't be at some things if it wasn't for you. Darn, we forgot that.
I'll bring my level. Second delegation today is Mr. David Craig, John Deere Shoal, Palmerston. Everybody's well aware that we have a Upper Canada Two Cylinder Club who's presenting to the town of Minto in this area in Palmerston on July 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. So, David, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and speaking into the mic.
I'll try my best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Dave. I don't know if this bends up. I don't want to smash it. Oh, that's how it's up a little higher. Okay,
It's new
here we go.
technology.
Right, new technologies. So anyways, it's a pleasure to be here on behalf of the Upper Canada John Deere Two-Cylinder Club. My name is David Craig and I am the president. And Accompanying today was supposed to be one of our directors and a past president of our club, and you might know him, is Doug Dan. And basically, he had his son-in-law passed away last week in New York State. So he sends his regrets, and he is with his family, his daughter, and their children, and he'll be back soon, but we just don't know when. So I'm going to fill in for him a little bit. But I put a package together, and I believe all the counselors received a package of our flyers of our show, the layout of what we're proposing to do on the grounds and the facilities, and also the competition for downtown businesses in Palmerston to decorate for a July show, to be judged, and there will be winners selected. And so far, I can say that 3 downtown businesses have applied. And so the competition closes July 1st. So we have a few more days ahead so we can get more to sign up for that competition. There seems to be a lot of an excitement in the air, and but before I get into that a little bit, I'd like to say to counselors and to you, Dave, that some of your people who work within the town of Minto have been very, very helpful to us. Greg Mallat, the facilities coordinator, has guided us and helped us and put us in touch, because we are going to have a Thursday night parade through downtown Palmerston. So Greg's been helpful in doing that. Doug was part of coordinating that. All the paperwork has been done, but when I chit-chatted with Doug this morning, we haven't received the go-ahead yet from the town. So we're just in limbo before we can say much more than that. So if we need to do some other things, please let us know or let Doug know, and we'll go from there. Erin Raftis with the marketing and community development. She's been very helpful and keen in getting downtown business and people in Palmerston aware of what's happening and about to happen. And Grace Wilson and Christian have been very helpful too on the trial. So on the Friday before the show opens, we're going to have a group of daycare kids come to our show, look at what we're trying to do and accomplish in promoting agriculture, because it's just not a green and yellow show. What we're looking for is forecasting and letting them see where the past was, where we are now, and where maybe the future might be when it comes to growing food to sustain our needs as human beings. So that's kind of the vision of our club, and we're always open for membership and volunteers. And one of the things we started out when we were looking for a brand new location is partnership. And if we take a look at the cost of things, and we know it's rising and will continue to rise, partnership with other organizations, with municipalities is key to sustainability of things that we're trying to do. And if we don't, you know what's going to happen. So if we take a look at fair boards, they seem to be struggling. And why is that? We as a club believe that the future is in partnership, and we'd like to say thank you for all your support and help and achieving our goals and dreams. I think I've covered just about everything that I would like to share with you at this moment, but if there's any questions from counselors, shoot ahead and I'll try and answer them the best I can.
Questions for Mr. Craig? Councillor Dirksen,
I'm thinking. Formulating. So I'm wondering about the parade, which I'm sure will happen. Even though you don't want to talk about it too much more until you know for sure, but I'm sure it'll happen. So is there opportunity for other organizations to be included in that, or are you just looking for a tractor parade? What's your vision on that?
For the first year, because we're getting our feet wet, we've invited the society to join us in the parade. So there'll be the 2 clubs and sort of, step and go get our toes wet in the water.
Sure.
And I guess I'll sort of speak to the fact that people know about the Rockville Christmas parade.
Yes.
It was a small, tiny seed. Where do we think this? So let's start small. And
Yep, perfect. Thanks, Dave.
Councillor Elliott.
First of all, I want to thank you for choosing Town of Minto to have this and to host it in Palmerston. I think I'm very excited. Do you expect that we'll have big crowds for this, or what, any anticipation of what would be there?
well, I can tell you what was in the past. So in 2019 in Grand Valley, we probably would have had between 1,700 and 1,000. Because there's some of our gate people that are members of our club and they have free admission membership. So we don't count them as comes through the gate.
Okay,
So I'm anticipating this time, I think people that, or even maybe double. Then what we're trying to do is we have come to an arrangement with CKNX that actually is going to help market this. So for 2 radio stations, starting about mid-July. So I think the enthusiasm that we've gained, and I've done a lot of toy shows from the first of January right up until the last minute of April. Everybody seems to be excited. So if I'm getting a gut feeling, we should have a huge attendance. The other thing that I can comment on is the Palmerston Ag Society. Paul Schneider and his by joining together, because we seem to be in a bit of a competition, get 2 tractor pulls Friday night, Saturday night. So sometimes people left ours and went to Palmerston. So with that all being said, in the generation of excitement, we should have 2 new pulls Friday and Saturday night. They won't both be the same. Friday night will be farm stock and all colors, so they're all welcome. And the Saturday night will be modified. You'll smell alcohol, all kinds of fumes, lot of fuel and stuff around inside. So it's gonna be a little bit for everybody, from that standpoint, so we'll put on a good show.
how many machinery, tractors, et cetera, would you have available with it? Will our field be all covered in,
Backgrounds, I think if you take a look at the site map, you can pretty much tell from where the open air shed is, back where the canopy grounds is. There's a huge area there that full of tractors. I don't know how many are coming. I know a lot of people are excited to come because they want to go on the parade on Thursday night. And the other part of it is, we also are, our 30th anniversary, we're also putting a display of tractors inside the arena on the floor. So it's gonna be pretty exciting. Very tractors inside that people can come and visit, have something better outside. At least we'll have something to talk about, look at, and we'll share inside. Well,
great, thanks.
Other questions? David, this is a very impressive map, the plot plan for 2023.
thank you.
Yeah, it is. It's well organized and it looks like you've done this before.
Well, actually, we started it when I came on the board, that was 2 years ago, once the milk fell. And then I had, it was funny enough, I used to live in Hartford, and I never attended Johnny Popper days when it was.
Oh.
Never could afford time, because we would either take the crop off, going to cattle shows, or cleaning the barns up, because we had international guests coming to the cows. So it's kind of full circle. I never was there, now I'm right in the middle. But it's all fun. Met a lot of nice people. You have some fun and some serious time, but the majority of it is fun.
I heard a little story that you were the chairman of the International Plowing Match 1984 in Minto, Wellington County.
Yeah, that's when I had. Tell stories. And that was quite a
for sure.
I fell into that by accident. It's um, I just happened to walk by. I used to plow competitive. So I knew a little bit about plowing. Got to know each undertaking. That was great. And that's another reason why we picked plowing. Because this is agriculture to me. You can feel it when you walk in. People are that understand, need to work, give, support. And alongside with people like Greg Malat, out of 17 different looked at, and we reviewed everyone, selected 5. As the beginning, we wrote a list of requests and questions and answered 5. Out of the 5 that we had, Greg was the only one that came prepared with every question. And then got into discussion and support. I think I wrote. It wasn't a hard decision.
Yeah, Greg's farming roots go way back. So we'll have to give him a big thank you for that. And I think,
That's right, and I think he's all that.
Mhm.
He's empowered anything that he has. Let me think about it.
yeah, Matt will be doing his annual review soon, so. So one thing for sure too, David, we do have 2 very active agriculture societies, both Palmerston and Hairston. And they have lots of members and always do with more, but they're pretty active and run a great event every year. So any other questions? So the parade is a go, Dave. You can take that back.
All right.
We do have an okay from our Public Works and our fire service. So do you need a document or anything? An email?
We will provide that.
Okay. We'll provide something for you. So,
That would be nice,
yeah.
because then, the old school used to do a handshake.
Yeah.
I think they. I know you guys are very close to the fire chief.
Mhm.
And that's gonna be a nice parade, so we'll put it then, fairgrounds at 6:30. Travel through the route that they have selected.
So-
That.
people that don't like that color, do they come anyways?
Funny that you asked that. There's a lot of people that have gone here, like Doug, right? There's a few other things there. It's not strictly, no. So, we embrace all, because it's not about tractors. So we need people making plans.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you for coming, and we look forward to all the excitement in Palmerston on July 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. So come out and support Thursday night. Lynn, what time do you want me to pick you up? So thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. Well, you can stay if you want. Okay, good. No problem. We understand. So our third delegation today is Inspector Steve Thomas. And he's our commander from the Wellington County OPP. And we'd like to welcome you. It says here inspector, but you're commander. I mean, that's kind of what we call you. And we'd like to welcome you and thank you for coming. And if we hit you with 2 difficult questions, don't be alarmed, okay? So thank you. The floor is yours.
have a traffic light, but we'll add all of our frontline officers, expect traffic enforcement, as part of the controls, not false service and some of the industry. So that's sort of an overview of our traffic management program in the county. Black cats are very loose and data analytics about areas can't not happen or unfortunately happen in this county. Yeah, so if you have any questions on our traffic management program, happy to answer.
So those black cats are portable, right? You move them from place to place.
That's correct.
Questions for, who's first? Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Thank you. Thank you for coming today. So I'm one of the people that sort of rose this and asked if you were coming, and they already had booked to come, so that was great, because I keep getting calls from people. So my question is, when they get the black cat information, what are the parameters that lead to an additional control? How long is the control left in place? And is there a follow-up study then to see if that control had actually any lasting effect? Like, did people get it? And the one spot that people talk to us about, we drove out to look at it, and the sign that says that the speed limit's decreasing is like 4 car lengths before the 50-kilometer sign. So you hardly have time to see it and slow down. And I don't know who governs that, or if that's the roads department, or who does that. And I find those flashing signs remind, I mean, all of us tend to get a little faster than we should be, especially coming in if there's a long entranceway into town. And those flashing signs are good to remind people that, hey, you need to slow down a little bit. But just wondering what the parameters are.
That's a big question. So right, we're still, our program's still in development, so I'll start with the program. Right now, we will 85% violence higher than officers. Approximately 2 after that is we're just adding to our program now, Councilor, to revisit those areas. We want to know if our efforts are making a difference. That's part of the program that we're adding currently. It's kind of a fall on one situation. We thought the black cats got some analytics, and now we're going officers. The next stage of this program will be to see if we're actually having impact in the areas. So what we'll see is our officer that's been assigned to that area for a particular period of time. Once they're finished, we're going to deploy the black cat to see if, in fact, it has made a difference. Now, I will add, a lot of times people see these cars and they slow down and then they're not there, they speed back up. But again, we will use the black cats as a follow-up to try and see if, in fact, our efforts are making some headway. The second part of your question, yes, flashing signs and all those other options, what I call traffic calming measures, or replacement of speed signs that we have. Correct, that's not necessarily the per se. Sure, everyone that sees those flashing radar signs or what have you tend to slow down. So that's what I would call one example of a traffic calming measure. That would ultimately get municipality to decide if these but I think most of us that see the speed bumpers that think slow down or slash your speed or different times out there, but we all tend to slow down when we see those signs, so they are effective in some of these. You're always going to get a small percentage of people that will speed no matter what. But of course, it's our collective.
So if I could just clarify, 85th percentile, my background's healthcare, so 85th percentile means only 15 out of 100 achieve that. Is that how this is measured, that it would be 15% of the people are speeding, or is it 85% of the people are speeding?
85% of the people are going 50. Some could be going under the speed limit
Oh,
or
okay. And
85% of vehicles, I'll say,
are not going 50,
are going
whatever.
15 over or less,
Oh,
or even under.
so it catches both.
It will, yeah, if someone's going 25 miles,
And does it separate that data out for you?
Does.
Okay, all right. Just wondered, because I'm thinking, well, everybody could be driving slow, we just think they're going faster, but
Well,
not likely.
You make a good point, right? A lot of times, a lot of times that happens. Put up that.
Oh.
5%. So that's why those blackouts.
What's,
What is that? Instead of this car there, enforcement, like, that's not gonna give us an accurate picture of what's going on. Sorry, talking. Wave my arms around.
Counselor Elliott, go ahead.
I noticed in Aurora, the speed limit's 40 kilometers. Do you find that that's better for the community? Or is that heating traffic getting through town or?
Well, I will say that. Doesn't matter if Steve Thomas thinks this or that.
Other questions? Go ahead, Counselor Dirksen.
Thank you, Mayor Jordan. I'm wondering, how many officers would be out in a normal day? And that'd be over the whole county of Wellington, obviously.
That's reading into.
Oh, I see, okay. Oh, okay. It seems to be in the past, we've had but maybe that's changed, but we've had a slide deck that had, that kind of information to, just to see what kind of a bang we're getting for our buck, I guess. And so another question, maybe this is operations too. It might be. You can tell me if it is. So I see police officers parked in cars in rural areas frequently, doing paperwork, keeping an eye on things. I'm not sure what they're doing, but there's a police presence at least. Do you also park in the urban areas as well? Because personally, I don't see that as often, but I'm just wondering if that's a thing as well, because I hear more and more in the urban areas that people are looking for a police presence.
Yes, that's a great question. There are present. Officers, a lot of times, number of reasons. Set officers presence, and that's it.
Sure.
Someone's tried. Or like try to part. I also try to sense turns. We also have officers running operations. You have officers that work in cars that aren't. So
Sure.
they don't necessarily black and white. That doesn't mean it's not a different type of officer.
Okay, and I guess I just want to say thank you for all you do to keep all of us safe.
Other questions? Last Thursday night, I happened to be in attendance at the Middle Clifford School. And there was a cruiser, maybe two, sitting there. And I was absolutely amazed at the number of people that were around those cruisers, looking in the doors and talking to your officers. So, I mean, that was a great event, and I heard numerous people say the same thing. So that's education, and that's great. I have one question, and that is to do with the e-scooters uptown. And I'm sure every municipality in Ontario have some of those e-scooters. I mean, you stand on it, you go like crazy, and if you're not careful, I'm not on the scooter, but if I'm not careful as a pedestrian, I could get run over, and I've experienced that. Who legislates that?
But it's huge. I would encourage all, what I'm calling, that you don't vote for, um, posting on social media, those types of things, all that helpful. Like someone can actually call this, you know, this, like I explained earlier, track, all of this stuff is happening over here, no one ever calls us, when people are calling about stuff over here, we're gonna think that all is good. Right? So I would encourage Polly just to ask that question, hey, what are this thing? And also County Wellington has a way to as well. Also, traffic. So I just encourage whoever's having have a concern, whether it's being a suspicious person or whatever, call us and an officer will decide. That's that issue. If you're a mess, thank you for men and women working from home are doing it, but I'm the fortunate one who have standard audible awesome that for the ones that know. I used to be able to do back, but our too caution. Interaction.
Go ahead, Councillor Elliott.
This is maybe off traffic. Is that okay to do this? Yeah. This is more of a, well, sort of a comment and a question at the same time. I had a resident knock on my door May 31st. Said that somebody was trying to light a fire in the pavilion in down the park in Palmerston. Caught them, they ran away, and she had confrontation with one of them and brought it to my house. And I said, well, phone the OPP, which she did, and explained it all to them. In the meantime, I contacted our staff, and we have cameras. So in the cameras, they caught them, yes, intentionally trying to light fires. Whether they were trying to burn the place down or whether they're just going to make, I don't know. So anyhow, no one ever got back to her, and no one that I know of got back to her. I know of. So I know in the past, when everybody brings any complaints to me, I tell them, make sure you phone the police. Make sure you phone. I don't know whether dispatch decides who gets it, because I know many times the OPP a couple days later, and probably no rush, a couple days later come in and investigate, at least talk to the people. But this time, for some reason, it didn't happen. So where's the communication level there? What should they do if they phone the police and they don't get any answer? Yeah, sure.
Sometimes all times video,
Yes.
that's part of all person's fault.
I don't think she knew there was video at the time. Okay. Yeah. Probably don't. They probably don't know there's video either.
You know, as much detail as, you know, we often will get more than one call at once.
Mhm.
Different people will have different things. Something awesome, but that's something else. So, call and say, hey, I saw people.
Mhm.
Someone else calls, hey, I have video. The officer can start piecing that stuff together. So I always the other option too that the other accident. Why people different. That's the case. That's all crime stuff. So that's a small bit of it. Maybe helpful if you want to.
I assume that these people were youth, under 18. Is there anything the police can do? They seem to have, throw it in your face. Like I talked to a few of them too, and they throw it right in your face. They're very arrogant, saying the police can't, the cops aren't gonna do anything because we're under 18. And is that a possibility? Is there anything you can do?
That doesn't mean
They believe that. So thanks for that.
Other questions? One more question, Gene.
Just to clarify, because I know that I've tried to direct people to call you, because it is the OPP we want them to call. They think they call local, they call us. But the Wellington County site, that reporting site, has to call us first, the municipalities.
So my comment on that is, it's okay if something's happening, it's happening now, just call us. Crank an officer around the corner. I mean, not, but it's something happened to that. Dump trucks drive by all the time, all whatever. Call us, and sir, you use the recording. Something happening in progress, I would encourage you to call us directly. Don't know on my report how often it happened. Something actually happened. I suggest you call us directly.
That is fact. I phoned in 5 minutes. I had a police officer across the block from me. So just timing was perfect. Dispatch says I got somebody within 5 minutes.
If we have online, it's always traffic. Encourage people. Let's see officers back. Don't want our officers there. But in certain instances, something's happened.
Great. So Commander Thomas, it's been a privilege to have you in our council chambers today, and we thank you for coming. We thank you for being so candid and, laying it on the line. This is the way it is. I mean, I'm sure there's some secrets, but I like your comment, and I've heard it numerous times. We don't know what we don't know. So, I mean, there's opportunity and avenues for us to get to you and your OPP officers. So I'm glad you were here, and I hope your mic worked. Because
I'm not very technological. I know I'm loud enough for this thing. Again, thank you very much. Spend some time at the office, always nice to drive line over. So I've been probably driven down that road an awful long time, because like I said, it was a frontline constable up there. This was my patrol area. It's always
So thank you very much, and you're welcome to stay, but I know you have a busy schedule and you'll likely want to vacate. So have a nice day. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
You guys can go.
Yep,
You
so
don't have
at this
to.
time, Lynn, Willa, you guys, my grade 4 teachers here. If you guys want to stay, you can stay. You're welcome anytime, and you can bring your friends.
I was her grade 5-6 teacher.
Okay.
I had your wife in 5. I had your wife in 5. She wasn't your wife then, though.
So, thank you. You guys can stay as long as you want, if you want.
We taught you for 4 years. Okay.
Unless they have a public question.
So yes,
Public questions before you
presently,
leave.
this is our public question period. Alice, do you have anything you want to ask? What a nice thing to say. Thank you. Willa, take care. So we have a recommendation moved by Counselor Pontovich, seconded by Counselor Zimmerman, that the council receive the correspondence as information. Yes, so is there Counselor Gunson?
I'd like to pull two items. Item I, Minto Mapleton Family Health Team request for council support. And K, Guelph Wellington Ontario Health Team Primary Care Expansion Fund.
Okay,
Through you, Mayor Turton, I do actually have a couple motions for those, if you so wanted them to be read for council's consideration. or-
absolutely. Will we do those two motions first? So
Um,
unless there's others that want to be pulled?
Yes.
Go ahead,
If I could
Counselor. Elliott.
comment, the OSUM Ontario Urban minutes are in there, and I encourage everybody to look at them. We are having some delegations with ministers when we go to AMO, our Ontario board, so, yeah. I'm glad to see that they're posting that, something we have never done, so we're making a step to become more progressive.
That's perfect, Counselor Elliott. And if you haven't been thanked for sitting on that board, the town of Minto encourages items like that, so thank you for participation there. I know you've been there a few years, but Annaline, so do you want to go ahead?
Certainly. In regards to item I, Minto Mapleton Family Health Team request, you would need a mover and a seconder to state that the council of the town of Minto provide a letter of support that can be appended to the Minto Mapleton Family Health Team's application to the government for expansion of 2 nurse practitioners, 1 registered practical nurse, and 1 receptionist for the purpose of attaching orphan patients living in Minto and surrounding area with a primary care provider, nurse practitioner.
Can I have a mover? Thank you, Counselor Johnson. Thank you, Counselor Deputy Mayor Anderson. Second one then, or will we vote on that first?
Vote on that.
All right, all in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you.
And for item K, Guelph Wellington Ontario Health Team, their motion would be that council of the town of Minto provide a letter of support to Guelph Wellington Ontario Health Team in support of their application for primary care expansion funding.
Can I have a mover and a seconder for that as well? Counselor Dirksen, Counselor Deputy Mayor Anderson. All in favor of that motion? Thank you very much. That's carried. I do know that our Minto Mapleton Health Team is really pushing hard for this. We all heard Jody Caldwell here a month ago or 2 months ago, sometime in the last 6 months, and she was the nurse practitioner here in our council chambers. And I must say she's a mighty competent nurse practitioner, and we're pushing hard. We have not had much luck in recruiting a doctor, so we do have a spot for them as well. So other items to be pulled, seeing none, I'm going to call the question on the rest of the items in correspondence. All in favor of receiving them? Thank you. That's carried. Okay, so reports from committees for approval. I'm going to pass the chair over to Councillor Elliott for the Community Services Advisory Committee minutes.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. I'd ask Matthew if he'd bring forward our minutes from May 29th, and hopefully our council will approve them.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott. So the committee met last week at the Harrison Arena. At that time, we were happy to report that we had very strong turnouts in April for all 4 weekends of the Super Mario Brothers movie. So we're having a good start to 2023 at the Norgan with the weekend feature films. The focus is now on this weekend's Party in the Park event, an annual fundraiser between the Norgan Theatre Board and the Palmerston Lions Club. And the Lulu's Roadhouse Band is back. Music starts at 7:30. Indoor facilities and outdoor amenities are very busy with some of the uses highlighted in the minutes. It was our pleasure to host a large camping contingency of around 40 units again this past May long weekend. They really enjoyed their stay and the hospitality provided to them by the community. In Harrison at the arena there, we did a visual tour of a couple small changes planned to the lobby area, including recessing the vending machines into the concession opening in the lobby just to create some extra space. Just with the return of hockey and skating, that lobby can get congested. We also talked about the kitchen renovation in Palmerston with all the prep work being completed in May, and some of the equipment has arrived and is arriving this week. We're inching closer to the opening of the new Palmerston Food Bank space on William Street. And once complete, we'd like to give you a tour of the new location, ideally by the end of this month. Town-run programs in Clifford, Harrison, and Palmerston continue to run well with good turnout at after-school, family drop-in. We just started roller skating in Clifford, grassroots soccer, to name a few. Outdoor shuffleboard started today for the summer at the Harrison train station. The pool schedules have been posted online, and we had to make some modifications compared to what we were able to offer last year as a result of having fewer staff. So the two big changes that are most prevalent would be private lessons being offered in the late afternoon as opposed to the early and mid mornings. And our plan is to only have one pool open on Saturdays and one pool open on Sundays. We're still able to offer ample afternoon and evening public swims, group lessons, swim team, adult swim, and aqua fitness on weekdays. Lastly, we talked about the upcoming strategic and master plan process and the importance of community input. And to wrap up, as Councillor Elliott mentioned, we have been experiencing some vandalism in the parks, and we need to ensure the OPP are notified of any occurrences.
Thank you. I'll read the motion and I'll ask for questions or comments. Moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson and second by Councillor Podnowicz that the council receive the Community Service Advisory Committee meetings of May 29th, 2023 for information and approve any recommendations contained therein. Any questions or comments? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just wondering about the roller skating in Clifford. Are we, so you bring your own inline skates, or is there four wheels on those skates, or?
So through Councillor Elliott, we do permit 2 or 4 wheels. It is bring your own. It was a resident that had brought up the idea. We were doing family drop-in from 10 to 12 up there on Saturdays. So we do the roller blading, roller skating from 12 to 1. We thought we'd try it for 6 weeks. The program ends at the end of June here. So if it went well, and depending on where things or how things play out for the fall, it might be something we look at doing in September, October, November. So yeah, and we've had there was over 30 the first week, and I think there's 23 the second week. So for a Saturday at noon, that's pretty good.
For sure. I mean, it was a big hit back a few years ago. I mean, in every arena. And so you would rent your skates. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Dirksen.
Oh, yes, sorry. Looking at
I
wrong
do the
person.
same.
Sorry.
Probably be talking to him better anyway.
Sorry, thank you, Councillor Elliott. I had a question about the concession booth in Harrison. Would there be any space at all there for, like for a window? I guess I'm thinking about the Harrison Fall Fair. I think that the Egg Society sometimes has a booth there. I don't know that they're cooking food, but I think they are selling something out of that concession. You know?
Through Councillor Elliott, they haven't been using that space. To my recollection, I know they use the landing for a bit of an office area. That used to be kind of
Yes.
in the halfway room, but then needed a bit more space for some of the equipment. A lot of the food is on the ice surface, kind of by the timekeeper's box. That's where the bulk of the food is served. We're essentially just planning to recess the 2 vending machines into that opening. It doesn't mean that the booth can't be operated in the future. It's not like a final decision or anything like that. But no, for the fall fair, I think that the kitchen as well as what's set up on the ice will be sufficient.
Thanks.
I have a question, Matt, about the pool. I noticed that we're putting a new liner in the pool at a fair cost. Do you expect that we can get longer than 5 years out of that, or should we be looking at a new system? I don't know whether you can do that in a pool that needs a liner.
So yeah, the liner we're looking at is another 30 mil liner. They've traditionally lasted us 5 to 6 years. This one we were hoping to get a couple more seasons out of, but with the tear near the drain, that's the worst possible spot for that to happen. We'd need to set aside significant funds in advance of doing something different. You could go with a more expensive liner. They're as inexpensive as 20,000 and over 100,000 for extremely high end. If we wanted something, but there's no guarantee that it'll last any longer. If we wanted to go with something similar to Palmerston, just with the makeup with the concrete and the aluminum, that would be that type of change we would need to plan for in advance.
So that would be costly too, would it?
It'd be very, very costly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but the
Right
pool-
now,
pool's
for-
in good shape. We wouldn't have to, other than that, we don't have to worry about it deteriorating, or the fact that we would have to build a new pool or anything like that.
the renovation in 2018 with the help of the Harrison Kinsman Club, that really helped. And that's the last time the liner was changed. So, like I said, we were hoping to get a couple more years out of this one, and it just, with that tear in the worst possible spot, replacing it now made the most sense.
How does that tear? What?
I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but I'd have to get more information.
So it wouldn't be vandal or anything? Somebody jumped in and sliced it?
I don't think it was vandalism. Like some of the equipment you put in, for example, the tot dock, or in Harrison, we've got the portable stairs in the shallow end. We need to be very careful that the footings on those don't rub against the liner and cause. That's in the shallow end. This was in the deep end, but no, any equipment you put in there, you got to be very careful that it doesn't tear into that liner.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Another comment, I wanted to say that at the Ball Diamond in Palmerston, Monday, I brought about congratulations to the clubs for attending our thing, and on behalf of the mayor and the town, and it was great to see. We had all kinds of community. I'm not sure how many, eight different high schools participating in the ladies fastball. So it's really, really good. And a lot of people in town, and the Optimist ran a booth, and so they made a bit of money on behalf of our community. It's good to have our community use like that. Okay. All in favor of the motion? None opposed? Pass it back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott. I'll move it along to Belinda for the Cultural Roundtable minutes and more.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. Sorry, my coughing episode. All right, just to go over these Culture Roundtable minutes. It is a busy month for Minto Culture Roundtable and many of our groups that are a part of it, so I may take a little bit longer than normal here. The Farmers Market. The Railway Museum opened just after the May 2-4 weekend. Last year we had 1,800 people through, and we're projecting this season to be even busier. We have a lot of tours already booked, including the Palmerston Public School grade 4 and 5 classes. There's the Great Canadian Bus Tour in July. We recently had some new benches installed that were a donation that we received, a significant donation. So we will be doing a special event likely in August to recognize the donator and to celebrate that. And work will hopefully be underway soon on renovating the caboose. So lots of exciting stuff happening at the museum. It is Pride Month. We raised the flag here on June 1st. And shout out to the Minto Pride Committee. We always praise the town of Minto for being a leader, and I think Minto Pride is a leader in this space for rural communities. They have an exhibit on right now at the Wellington County Museum and Archives, and are being asked all the time to present and participate in different activities. Right now, people can make a donation and put yard signs up, or businesses can show their allyship by putting stickers in their windows. So continue to promote being an inclusive and welcoming community. Our Youth Action Council has been busy working out of the Grove, continuing to host events. And some of the other special things coming up is we have a Taste of the World in Minto event happening in conjunction. We've talked about fall fairs before and egg societies. So we're working with the Harrison Minto Egg Society at their fair in September. We are going to have, I think, 8 to 10. I think we're at 8 right now. Our goal is 10 different cultures featured at this event from Minto, preparing different food samples and having an entertainment stage as well. So we're looking forward to hosting that. GORD has been working with the Supporting Performing Arts in Rural and Remote Communities, and we are really happy to report that we will be hosting the 2024 Summit here in Minto, and they loved all of the venues they toured. So we're looking forward to hosting probably close to 100 people next spring. Another important discussion that we had and we want to raise here is the Norwell Grade 9 Arts Performance Project, and the school board's plan to discontinue this program permanently. As a cultural organization, we strongly don't like this. I don't know if anyone went to see the Beauty and the Beast performance by Theatre Norwell. Over 2,000 people attended over 4 days. It was amazing to see the youth on stage doing what they love, and this is a feeder program to that. So to hear that it could be potentially, well, it will be permanently canceled is what we've been told. Petitions are out there. There may be 1,000 people now have signed the petition. And our recommendation was that the Cultural Roundtable write a letter to Norwell, to the Upper Grand School Board and the school board trustee, requesting that they reconsider the permanent cancellation of the Norwell Arts Performance Project class. So it's our understanding that there's 19 students that have enrolled, and they typically run with more than that. Maybe if it's canceled this year, if it's too late to do anything, they could bring it back next year. So that is what we have done. I believe I attached the letter from Peggy Raftis, our chair, to the minutes, and we're just looking for council's support to endorse that letter and to relook at that. Our Culture Days group is getting started on planning for our September 2023. And we're also looking at doing a Truth and Reconciliation event in September as well. So I'm not going to go through all the committee member updates, but June is a very, 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 very busy month, and there's no shortage of things to do. So hopefully you've taken the time to read that, and I'll answer any questions.
Questions for Belinda?
Just a comment.
Go ahead, Councillor Elliott.
I agree with you with what's happening with my granddaughters, and all three of them have gone through that, and it's amazing the confidence that they gain, and you're so proud of them to see them up and doing things that you never expected they could do. And it's a great program, one of the best programs you could ever have for that. I don't understand. What is the reasoning? What do they say? Money?
We've been told it's lack of registration, a significant lack of registration. So I don't think it's significant.
So we should register for school and, no, just kidding, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're
So,
hoping it's not permanently canceled, that maybe it's offered every other year for students that, like, this program gets those students to school, similar to the hockey geography program.
yeah,
Some students will go to school because they get to participate in that, right? And this is the same. It's a equity issue, right? There's a lot here in this, so encourage you to check out the petition.
yeah, Norwell's
endorse the
ahead of
letter.
so many schools. I wonder if there's a little bit of jealousy, is a bad word, maybe, that we have that program and people want to come to that school. These programs, there's 2 or 3 of them that are really good. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it seems to be, it's out there. There is a lot of people aware of it. And likely, if it's too late for this year, like you said, we likely should ask our Upper Grand District School Board trustee representative to a council meeting, Robin Ross. So, I mean, we elected her. So we should maybe, if you don't mind, CAO Potter, I have her number, because I've had lots of calls on this. It's pretty amazing. When we cut something, it's really difficult to get it back. So, and if you want to get to the bottom of it, you ask the people that can answer the questions. So other questions on the Cultural Roundtable minutes? If not, Belinda, go ahead.
Move
You
on
have,
to the next
you-
report.
So, I mean, do you have other things you want to talk about?
No, that's it for that, those
Okay.
minutes, yeah.
All right, so we want to pass all of these at the same time?
Just the motion for the cultural roundtable.
Okay, perfect. Let me catch up here. Recommendation moved by Councillor Gunson, second by Councillor Elliott, that the council receives the cultural roundtable minutes of May 29th, 2023 for information and approved any recommendations contained therein. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, then we'll move along to the next item on the agenda is Plan 2023-027, Paul and Ella Martin, Triple F Constructions. Sorry,
ECDEP 2023.
did I did. Thank you for keeping me straight. I knew there was something else, Belinda. Sorry. So,
Sorry, I thought you meant for the minutes.
ECDEV 2023-016, signage grant, P23, Feel Alive Wellness Station. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Belinda.
really straightforward. Again, with the Economic Development Committee only meeting quarterly, we don't like to hold these up. So it's just a small signage grant, Feel Alive Wellness Cafe, obviously massage. They also have the cafe and smoothie bar. So this is a perpendicular sign 2x2 that they're hoping will raise more awareness of what they're doing in that space. It was approved by the committee via email, and it's a matching grant, which would be $462. So we recommend approval of that.
Questions? Okay, thank you. So recommendation, Councillor Zimmerman, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson. Council Town of Minto receives report ECDEV 2023-017 regarding signage grant number P23 for 209 Unit B, Main Street West, Palmerston for $462 and approves this grant. All in favor? That's great. That's carried. Thank you. So now we'll move along to a report from Ashley Sawyer. I'm not sure if I need to read all what I just read there, but go ahead, Ashley.
Perfect, thank you. So the staff report is regarding 5 severance applications on 69 Allen Street West in Clifford. So we did consolidate it into one report rather than bringing you 5 separate ones. So this proposal is to sever 3 vacant residential lots within the urban boundary of Clifford and 1 residential lot with the existing dwelling. The agricultural land will be severed as well outside of the urban boundary, and there's also a drainage easement proposed on the retained lands that will benefit the residential lots within the boundary. So each residential lot is proposed to be approximately 0.22 acres to 0.31 acres in size. The drainage easement is proposed to be 5 meters wide and approximately 0.42 acres in size. So it'll run in an L shape along the property line there on the farmland. And the farmland's proposed to be approximately 35 acres in size. So the County of Wellington's official plan does note that intensification and a variety of housing types is encouraged in urban centers such as Clifford. It also notes that a clear distinction between urban and rural areas should be maintained. Generally, new farmland lots must be a minimum size of 35 hectares, but smaller lots can be considered where there is clear evidence that an agricultural pursuit can be successful on a smaller property. So the property is presently cash cropped, and it has been for many years, and the severance will not reduce any agricultural lands. It'll continue to function as it has been, and as such, town staff are satisfied that it meets the intent of the official plan. So the residential lots are currently zoned as future development, but they are designated in the county official plan as residential. So as a condition of the severance, we'll be requiring them to rezone to conform to the official plan designation. The intent right now is to rezone to a residential R2, which is one of our most common residential zones. It provides a variety of housing type possibilities. So single detached, semi-detached, 3 or 4 unit street townhomes, duplexes, up to 4plexes. The zoning bylaw amendment will be included as a condition, and this is something that would come before council at a later date and a public meeting would be held. The farmland does have an existing agricultural exception zoning, so that doesn't permit for new livestock facilities. This is a standard zoning that applies to all properties that are within 1 kilometer of the urban boundary. And once the farmland is severed, 1 new single family dwelling would be permitted to be built, but the intent from the owner remains that it will continue to be farmed and cash cropped by his father. So we have recommended 13 conditions. It seems more than usual, but it's because it's covering 5 severances. So for the building department, we've included standard conditions. They'll be required to pay their parkland dedication fee for the new lots in the urban boundary. They'll also be required, as I mentioned, to do the zoning bylaw amendment to rezone from future development to residential. There's a standard condition for the clerk's department that all accounts are in good standing, and Public Works does have the majority of conditions. So it includes standard access and servicing capacity confirmation, as well as that the developer must submit securities with the amount determined by an engineered cost estimate for any right-of-way works. All development costs are solely the responsibility of the developer. And we'll also be looking for some site servicing agreements. This is because the lots 1, 2, and 3 shown on the picture there do not have existing services to them, but they will be, and that's something that they're proposing, and the site servicing agreement will outline in more detail what works will be completed. They'll also be registered on title. For number 4, it's a little different because they have an existing water connection, but they do have septic, so they will be required to connect to our sewer service once it's extended down Allen Street West there. We have included also a condition for a municipal drain apportionment for the drainage easement. Talking to Public Works, it may actually cost more to have the engineer do that than what the assessed value would be. So that's something that we'll be discussing with the landowner, which direction they would like to go. Ultimately, that decision's up to them. And we have also included a condition that the owner provide the documented location of the existing water line service for lot number 4, just to make sure it's not going through any of the vacant lots there. So we are recommending that council considers recommending to the Land Division Committee to approve the consent with the conditions outlined in the report. And if you have any questions, I am here to answer them.
Questions for Ashley? 14 conditions. Is that a record?
It's more than usual, yeah. Yeah, we really had to think them all through just to make sure we're encapsulating them, but not hindering, you know, one severance file over the other. But I think the most straightforward way is to just have it all under an umbrella.
Go ahead, Councillor Elliott.
Would we get development fees when they decide to build them residentially, or are we out of that now?
We will be getting development charges. So the county's working on their phasing in. So they just actually went up June 1st, and then they'll be phasing in towards their full potential over the next few years. But yeah, no, we will be collecting development charges on them. And the towns, because we didn't open our DC bylaw, are in effect as they were until that bylaw expires.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
It's a good question, Councillor Elliott. Thank you. So no further questions. The recommendation is that the council of the town of Minto, recommendation moved by Councillor Botnovich, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that the council of the town of Minto recommends the County of Wellington Land Division Committee approve consent application B4423, B4523, B4623, B4723, and B4823. Martin, for lands legally described as concession D, part lot 17 and 18, part lot 1922 in planned village of Clifford, former village of Clifford, town of Minto, county of Wellington, that the following conditions be considered. I'm not going to read the conditions. Ashley did a great job of explaining them. So if there's no questions, all in favor of the motion? That's carried. Thank you very much. And we'll move along to the site servicing agreement, Mr. Kuipers.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. Council may recall dealing with this property not too long ago with regards to a consent application. The proposal is to sever the existing house off, and then there's a vacant or potential for a vacant lot on Temple Street to be developed as a semi-detached is what the proposal was. One of the conditions that we put on that consent application is that services were to be provided to the satisfaction of the town. While the applicant was developing a grading and servicing plan for the property, it was determined that the property is low and will need a storm connection, which there is no storm main currently on Temple Street. So in discussion with the owner, we gave him a couple options. One would be to either install the services currently to clear that condition, or the other would be to enter into a servicing agreement. As it's a lot more cost effective to install that service when the excavator is there for the foundation, he opted to go with the site servicing agreement, hence why we are discussing it currently. Terms in the agreement basically outline who's responsible for what and when things have to happen. So the owner at the time of development of that site would be required to put up securities in the amount of 110% of the right-of-way works, which is our standard amount. As the property is currently for sale, the vacant part is currently for sale. I did include clauses that it's binding to all future owners and will be registered on title, so these provisions will carry forward. What else? Yeah, I think that is pretty much sums up the terms of it. 100% of the cost will be on the developer, so that'll be for both the storm connection, which has to extend to Low Street, the water and sanitary lateral, which is in Temple, as well as the site restoration. So there's no financial commitment on behalf of the town. And if there's any questions, I would be willing to field them.
Questions for our CBO? Go ahead, Councillor Potnovitz.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. Terry, that storm line would run on municipal property?
It will be, yes, yeah. So it's the more colorful of the grading plan kind of shows the location. I don't know, Quinn, if you can shift it to my other pretty picture.
Looks like abstract art.
So there's a lot happening there, but it is, I believe, the blue line at the very bottom.
Other questions? Ten years ago, would you had to do this, Terry?
We're in a lot different position than where we were at 10 years ago. 10 years ago, lots like this were never created. We didn't see them here. Everyone wanted your 66 by 132 lots. So it's just recently that we're coming across all of these. With respect to the servicing agreement, I want to say back in those days, we didn't. But the dynamic has changed, who's developing, that sort of thing. So just to cover not only the municipality, but the future owner of that property, of the vacant property, that they know what obligations they're going to be under. So
the new owner see that on title before they say, I want to purchase this?
correct, yep.
Thank you. Okay, so the recommendation moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Gunson, that the Council of the Town of Minto receives the Director of Building and Planning Services report for the site servicing agreement pertaining to a lot severed from 475 Low Street within the former town of Palmerston for information. And further, that the owner executes with the town of Minto a site servicing agreement regarding the severed parcel from 475 Low Street. And further, that council considers passing a bylaw in regular session authorizing the mayor and the clerk to sign the site servicing agreement. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you. I'm going to ask our clerk, Annalene McRobb, to tell us about the parking control at CL 2023-008.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. Just a little background. The County of Wellington and the member municipalities got together in 2000 and passed a bylaw for parking control countywide. And then we repealed and replaced in 2005 and are just now repealing and placing in 2023. So the old 5 one has had minor changes to it over the years, and so it's time to just put a new one in place. The reason that the County of Wellington bylaw number is used is because all the municipalities, when they're being ticketed by the Wellington County OPP, it is one number to place in there in the ticket instead of numerous bylaw numbers by all of the municipalities. As you can see, I put in some of the following changes that are updated in the body of the bylaw. And as well, we made some changes to the schedules to reflect best practices. This will not come into effect until November 1st. We will repeal the old one as of October 31st, and the new bylaw will take effect on November 1st. This allows us some time to get our set fines in place and ready to roll for that date with all of the municipalities. And if there's any questions, I'd be welcome to answer.
So the recommendation is moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Gunson, that the Council of the Town of Minto receives report CL 2023-009 regarding the parking control, and further that the council authorizes the mayor and the clerk to sign a bylaw 6000-23, being a bylaw for parking control in the town of Minto, and repeals bylaw 5000-05, and further that the set fines and short form wordings be increased and filed with the Ministry of the Attorney General. Questions? What we're doing here, Annaline, is making it common through all 7 municipalities in Wellington County. So when our OPPs go from town to town or municipality to municipality, they're all the same. They don't have to get their book out. What are we doing here? What are we doing in this municipality? So it's a good thing. So all in favor of the motion? That's carried. Thank you. So we're at announcements. Councillor Elliott, do you want to start?
Sure. Couple of things. We had a road toll with our Lions Club last Saturday. Amazing result. Couple reasons we did it. It helps bring notice to our club. At the same time, we had people digging a trench. We're going to try and light up some trees at the back of the park for Christmas time and throughout the winter. So people got to see us doing that. People were super supportive as we were telling them we were putting money back into the community, and we're also hoping that some of that money would go towards the hospital, the MRI machine. So really want to thank the community or anyone that stopped. There's people outside of our community that stopped. We're very supportive, and we did very well. Party in the Park, it was mentioned by Matt, that's this Saturday night, June 10th. If everyone could make it, it was great. It's a fun time. It starts around 7:30, and usually we try and get people out of there by midnight. Where I think we cut off everything around 11, and the music plays until 11:30, and then we try to herd everybody out. But you know what that's like. But it's really a good atmosphere, fun thing to do, and hopefully, if you could spread the word or have people again, the Lions Club and the Northern Theater support that. Money that goes directly back into the community. So if you can be there, be there. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Elliott. Councillor Potnovitz.
I have maybe not an announcement, but more of a comment. I was doing some shopping in Palmerston last Friday, and I was pleasantly surprised to see a whole bunch of students sweeping sidewalks and washing windows and all kinds of work on the main street. So I asked around, I think Connie Robbins was there, and she was kind of orchestrating it a bit. It was the KELP students from the KELP program, I should say, from Normal High School. It just amazed me to see that many kids out there cleaning up the main street. I just want to congratulate them.
Thank you, Councillor Potnovitz. Councillor Gunson.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. This will be the last time I talk about pancake breakfast this year. So we had a very successful pancake breakfast. We served 767 people between 7 and 11. Matt, I just want you to thank your staff for setting up and taking down, and Brandy was really great day of, getting there early and helping us along. Struggled with the deep fryer, so if you take that out, that's no problem. Didn't work anyway. But no, I want to thank everybody for showing up and supporting the firefighters. It was great. So,
Yeah, well, we need to thank the firefighters. It was an amazing event. Food was great, along with the horticultural sales, and I mean, so many positive comments. So, thank you. Councillor Dirksen.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. Couple things. Thursday evening, last week, the Minto Clifford Central Public School had their summer social, I think they called it. And so I noticed that on Facebook, and so I thought, oh, that'd be kind of cool to sign up to volunteer. They had the coolest way to sign up that I have ever seen. It was, I don't know what the program was now off the top of my head, but it was really a neat way to sign up, and then they sent you multiple emails, so there was no chance that you were gonna forget that you had signed up. And anyways, it was a really nice night. There were lots of people there, lots of families out, and I didn't get outside, but there was lots of displays and so on there. And Mayor Turton was also there serving pizza and pop, and maybe he had another job too, I don't know, but I just stuck to one job for the 2 sessions because I figured then I didn't have to learn how to do 2 things. But anyways, it was really well done evening, so congratulations to the school council and the teachers and the students there. Also, just thinking today, when the smoke in the air is bothering my eyes and so on and so forth, just thinking how very fortunate we are that all we're doing is smelling the smoke from the fires that are burning elsewhere in Canada. And also that should remind us to be very, very careful with fire. Because most of these big fires weren't big when they started. They started sometimes through a very careless act. So just a reminder to be careful. And that is all.
Thank you, Councillor Dirksen. Councillor.
Yes, just to
Mhm.
further that, maybe our CAO, Chris Harrell, could enlighten us on that, but I believe tomorrow we'll be implementing a partial fire ban in the town of Minto, so he can maybe elaborate on that for us.
Yeah, the county Wellington fire chiefs have gotten together, and as of tomorrow morning, we're implementing a partial fire ban. So no burning permits will be issued in the town of Minto for any large pile burns or that any burns requiring burn permits. They will not be issued until further notice. We still will allow campfires and backyard cooking fires. Our statistics in the county show that backyard fires do not cause larger fires. They've done responsibly, and nobody has done that unresponsibly. So we're not going to extend it to that so far. We're gonna let people enjoy that, but any large pile burns or anything like that will not be allowed until further notice.
Thank you. Hopefully that point will get across to people. Deputy Mayor Anderson.
Thank you. So, like Jeff, this will be the last time I mention the Garden Festival for this year. It was really successful. There were lots of good vendors, lots of people, lots of activity going on. And I think most of the vendors were very pleased. We haven't had our recap. That happens tomorrow night. But thank you for those who came out. And the breakfast was delicious. And it's a great combination of events. That's all I've got.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. So just a couple of announcements. June 28th, 6:30 p.m. is the Solidarity March in Hairston. We're inviting everybody to come. It's at the arena at 6:30. I'd like to throw a shout out to the gala committee. The hospital gala was Saturday night in Drayton, and I understand, a couple of Saturday nights ago, and I understand it was amazing. There's a lot of volunteers to make that gala happen every year, and I understand that they raised quite a bunch of money, so that's a really good thing. Farmers Market opened on Saturday in Palmerston, so just, the last thing is I was at a meeting on Thursday last week at the county. First time I'd been to the Guelph Council Chambers. It's a pretty neat place. The county council and the Guelph Council sat together and talked about our county paramedics, our offloading issues at the Guelph General Hospital. And it was an interesting discussion that we had. I'm not sure if we were successful in resolving anything, but we were certainly successful in, so I understand that Guelph and the county have had their differences on items from time to time, but this is the first meeting of many, we hope. So we're very close together. Guelph's in Wellington County, and so we're working hard to resolve some of our issues. So it was a good day, and for sure, that issue of offloading is out there, and everybody's well aware of it. So moving ahead, The next resolution is moved by Councillor Podnovitz, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that the Committee of the Whole convenes into regular council. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. The next resolution is moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Podnovitz, that the Council of the Town of Minto ratifies the motion made in the Committee of the Whole. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. So bylaws, moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Gunson, that bylaw 6000-23 be read a first, second, and third time and passed in open council, sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. The resolution moved by Councillor Zimmerman, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that bylaw 2023-040 be read a first, second, and time, second and third time, and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. That's the site servicing agreement on 475 Low Street. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you. Conformatory bylaw moved by Councillor Elliott, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that bylaw 2023-041 confirm actions of the council, the corporation, the town of Minto, respecting a meeting held June 6, 2023, be read first, second, and third time and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor of that motion? Carried. Thank you. The adjournment. Moved by Councillor Potnovitz, second by Councillor Elliott, that the Council of Town of Minto adjourn the meeting again at the call of the mayor. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you. Thank you very much. Excellent meeting. I think we wanted, is